M&I University. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I'm Katie. I'm brand ambassador here at M&I. I'm a lead gen strategist, a supporter of US manufacturing, a productivity nerd, and a huge fan of social selling. Inger and I are so excited to have you join us today. For those of you who are new to us, M&I University is a free online learning led by industry professionals. We share valuable insights on sales and marketing and supply chain and other emerging trends. And you can access this expert content at any time at university.mni.net. At M&I, otherwise known as Manufacturers News, we connect buyers and sellers through our directories, Industry Select, which is an industrial prospecting tool, and Industry Net, which is an industrial marketplace. And we're also very proud to be collaborating with the Small Business Administration on their new onshoring portal. But before we begin discussing LinkedIn strategies with Inger Van Roy, a few requests for you. Please use the chat box for questions and comments, and feel free to mute yourself and turn off your cameras however you feel comfortable. This session is being recorded and will be available on university.mni.net, M&I's YouTube channel, and I will also send it to you all via email later this afternoon. But thank you so much, Inger, for sharing your expertise once again on M&I University, but the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. Good to be here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to be presenting. So if you could please let me know if you can see my screen. Katie, can you see? Okay, awesome. So let's jump right in. This class workshop is entitled LinkedIn for Sales Pros, and it's about relationship-driven selling in a digital age. This is workshop 1 of 2, and we're calling it the new sales floor, laying the foundation, because it's all about the basics. Zig Ziglar once said, if people like you, they'll listen to you. But if they trust you, they'll do business with you. So who am I to talk about this? Well, I am a wife, a mom of 3 girls, a lover of people. But the most important part right now is that I am a LinkedIn enthusiast. And what I know about LinkedIn is what I've learned through what I do for myself, as well as how I service my clients. I hate videos. Now you may be wondering, if I hate videos, what the heck am I doing here? And that was my intro video just to share a little bit more about me. Jim Rohn once said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I, however, have a very different philosophy, and that is because I am rooted in South Africa. That's where I was born. And I believe in the principle of Ubuntu. Ubuntu means that I am because we are. And the reason why I believe in this principle of Ubuntu so much is because I've learned so much from all the people in my circle and everything that I've experienced in life. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there has been a shift in sales. We're going from the original handshakes to what we now call hashtags. And that means that sales is shifting a lot from being in person, knocking on doors, making calls, to actually having an online presence. And LinkedIn has turned into the modern sales floor. Your profile is your first impression to those who would like to learn more about you and what you do. So here's what we'll cover today. I want to share with you why LinkedIn matters. I also want to go into the new buyer journey. We'll talk about some profile optimization basics. And then I'll share with you my 3-step framework, which is connect, communicate, and collaborate. Then we'll go on to some quick wins and next steps. Let's dive right in, don't we? Why don't we? So part 1 is why LinkedIn matters. LinkedIn is used all over the world. It is the most trusted social media platform, especially in North America. To date, LinkedIn has over 1 billion users. 67 million plus of them are actually companies. 76% of B2B buyers use LinkedIn for decisions. And 80% of B2B leads from social come from LinkedIn. Takes us back to the fact that LinkedIn is actually the most trusted social media platform. Sales pros who use LinkedIn outperform their peers by over 45%. Let's jump into the new buyer journey. LinkedIn content is pulled by Google search. Only 5% of users actually share content on LinkedIn. So 5% of that 1 billion plus people share content. So it goes to show that if you share content, it'll make you stand out. So a Google search then will actually lead to LinkedIn leads, which will lead to connecting and having conversations with others. If you are invisible online, the sad news is that you're out of the conversation. And that's why I'm here, to bring you into the conversation and help you move forward into the digital age. Part 3, the foundation of LinkedIn. I'd like to ask you as an audience, what do you think would be the foundation of LinkedIn? And I'd like to encourage you to think of, when you have an important meeting, what is the first thing that you do? Won't you please raise your hand and let me know if you have an answer? What do you think is the foundation of LinkedIn? Darnell.
I knew you was gonna call me. No, I think the foundation is credibility and connections.
Interesting answer. What about you, Katie?
I like credibility a lot. But your question was, what do we do before we have a meeting with somebody? Me, of course, I go to LinkedIn just to be sure that to see if they've had a recent post, something that I can chat about, something that I can connect about, other than work.
I like that answer, Katie, but what I was looking for was more like away from LinkedIn. What do you do before you know that you're going to have a meeting? For me, I'll tell you, I think about what I'm going to wear, how I'm going to show up. Coming today, I didn't just pick anything random. I would not be showing up here in my swimsuit. But that's the point, right? You have to think about how you show up and how you are perceived. Because if you really want to make an impact on LinkedIn and make those connections matter, it's about how you show up at first. So the foundation of LinkedIn is really your profile, because that is your digital handshake. It's how you can show up on LinkedIn in a professional and polished manner so that you can have that credibility that we're all looking for. So let's go ahead and talk about 3 quick wins when it comes to your profile. The first would be a professional photo. The second would be a client-focused headline. And the third is your banner. That needs to be your visual story. It needs to be how you want people to see you, because it's one of the first pieces of real estate that you will show when people go to look at your profile. I don't know why my presentation is not showing up properly. Let me stop the share and try again. Interestingly, let me ask first before we move forward. Who has seen some interesting profile pictures that, yeah. Katie, can you go ahead and describe some for us, please?
I've just seen some ones that look like they're like a quick snapshot taken in a car, but it looks kind of like young, they're super done up in makeup and have like filters put on. Maybe they have ears on or something, weird stuff like that. But I've also seen some that it's really shocking when I get into a meeting with them and they don't look like their picture. It's very shocking.
Why shocking?
Because then you kind of wonder if the person you are in the meeting with is really the person that you should be in the meeting with, first of all. But then sometimes I also wonder, just the couple of times that has happened to me that I remember, I just wonder why they didn't feel like they could put their real self out there.
Mm.
Should I be more concerned about my picture and what my picture looks like then?
And
That's all.
then what does that make you think about what their offering is like? When you look at them and
Well,
you
if
see,
they can't be authentic,
mm,
how can I trust them to tell me about their business authentically and what they do, I guess.
mm, makes me feel like I need to update my headshots.
I needed to do mine. Someone told me, I think it might have been, I don't know, someone told me I need to update mine now because it's bad. So I did.
I'm sure that was me, probably. Okay, so can you see my screen now? Is it better? So this is what your digital business card looks like. If you look at this person whose LinkedIn profile I screenshot, can you give me some thoughts? I'll call on someone. If you can raise your hand, give me some thoughts about what you feel about this profile. And yeah, just share some thoughts with me, please. And if nobody volunteers, I'll have to ask someone.
I'll go. It looks professional. Um, it looks like a business card, a digital business card. I mean, he's dressed nice, and it looks like he might know what he's talking about.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Darnell. What about you, Kenneth or Jerome? Do you have something that you'd like to share that you've observed by looking at this?
I think it's very. This is Jerome here. Very, you know, upfront, basic. His name with his position, and just a nice kind of little classic background picture. Yeah, I think it's pretty authentic.
Okay, thank you. One thing I want to point out to you is just looking at the image that ties into what um what his headline is, right? So if you look at the banner picture at the top, it ties into it because he's a software engineer. And that just speaks about the digital age, the background image. His profile picture is very professional. It's a headshot, so it takes up, it's part of his head, and his shoulders are what you see in the picture. Of course, the background is black, so you can't necessarily see the shoulders, but that's generally what we would go for. Also, that person, this Nathaniel, is looking straight into the camera. That is also part of showing up with authenticity and with credibility as well, because when you make eye contact with someone, that's important in real life, right? So think about, having your profile picture mimic, and not just your profile picture, but also your entire profile mimic what you're doing in real life. That's important. So let's move on. I shared with you the 3 quick wins. And for those that are in attendance, if you would like to audit your profile on LinkedIn, these 3 things are 3 quick wins that you can implement, and it won't take you much time and it won't take much effort. I want to show you some examples of some profile pictures that I've come across on LinkedIn. So if you have a look at the top row, these ones are looking at the camera, they're smiling, they feel, for me, I'll say, I feel like they are approachable, like they are credible, and they're professional. And then if you have a look at the bottom pictures, I can't even tell you what the first person is doing. I think he's holding some medals, but I'm not certain. But he's not looking at the camera, and it just doesn't feel like a picture that you should be displaying on your LinkedIn profile. The second one is someone, I don't know even which one of these gentlemen owns that profile, right? Because it's not like it's zoomed in on someone and not on another person. So there are 2 people there, and we're not even sure if it's John or Bob that's showing up. And then the same with this one, there, even though we're zoomed in on that person, you still see people in the background, and it really doesn't look professional. I think they speak for themselves. So when you think about your headline, here are some examples and what I would like you to do is take your headline from a job title. So you saw the first, that profile card that I showed you. Nathaniel said, he is a software engineer at IBM. What we would like to do on LinkedIn is not just state your profession, but we want to go from job titles to value statements, because really what you want to do is focus on your audience. Who are the people that you would like to speak to, and how do you add value for them? So we want to go from something like an account executive at ABC Manufacturing to helping industrial leaders reduce downtime and maximize efficiency. That doesn't tell you their job title, but it tells you how they can add value for you if you become the customer. So think about whether your headline speaks to your client's pain point. Okay, I'm showing you an example of my own banner picture. So the whole point of your banner, if most people's banners are empty, but what we would like to do is turn your empty space into a sales asset. So maybe add a tagline. If you have a website, put your website in the image. Include your branding. So if you look at mine, I don't include my website, but I include the branding, my branding colors. And from the presentation that I'm doing with you right now, you can tell that my branding is teal, orange, and white. And we want to make sure that we show up on brand all the time. And we want to show how we solve problems visually. So if you have a look at my banner picture, I'm showing someone pointing towards connections. And also in the corner on the right-hand side, what I'm showing through that image is that I will help to connect to different people. And that's because I'm an expert community builder. I'm a business coach and a corporate trainer, and I help professionals connect, communicate, and collaborate, which is my 3-step process. And this is to set you up for success. Part 4, let's jump into my 3-step framework or 3-step process. So my framework is connect, communicate, and collaborate. The whole point of what I do is to help you to stop connecting randomly, but to help you be strategic. Um, I want to set you up to communicate and build trust, not pitch slap people. Let me ask, Kenneth, have you ever heard of pitch slapping?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's a modern term. Um, let me see what the chat says. I'm sure, yeah, pitch slapping. Katie, since I know you've heard what it is, can you share what your thoughts are on pitch slapping, what it is, and if you've ever experienced that, please?
I experience it all the time, and just so quickly, it's just when somebody messages you out of the blue with either a short or most likely a long message. You've never met them before, and they just send you all this stuff about what they do and book a meeting with me and send me a link. Happens to me all the time.
Awesome.
So it goes anywhere from being a long one to just a real short one, but they don't know me. They're just assuming that I fit their bill and they send me a message. And more than half the time, I'm not the right person, or I'm not even the right type of industry. So,
Mhm. And sometimes you even get pitch slaps from your competitors.
yeah, I did just get one. That's so funny. I did. I got definitely.
Yeah. So the term pitch slapping it's a modern term. Of course, it comes from another phrase that we don't want to speak out loud. But it's really about asking someone to marry you without courting them. No dates, no first kiss. Let's just jump right in there and get married. Um, most people don't want to do that. And to be quite honest with you, I get pinch slapped all the time. And my response varies depending on who I'm speaking with and also the way that they come across. I have been known to jump on a call and teach somebody the right way, a better way. Um, I've also blocked and deleted some people depending on what they said to me. How you deal with pitch slapping is up to you, but I encourage you not to follow suit. And then the last step of my 3C framework is collaborate. Because I believe that conversations, meeting with people, whether it's in person or online, lead to conversions, and it leads to collaborations. So why this works? It works because relationships equal revenue. I don't think I need to teach you old school salespeople how to build relationships, because you don't just show up in person and say, "Hey, buy from me." You foster relationship. You get to know someone. I knew a salesperson that would keep notes on the communication that they had with people to make sure that they didn't forget, um, to make sure that, you know, um, they remembered detail. And detail such as what's their wife's name, how many children they have, if their children participated in a specific sport, um, which city they're in, what their interests were. And that has absolutely nothing to do with selling the product. It's really about building that relationship because, as I said, relationships equal revenue. So LinkedIn is not about hard selling. It's about earning trust because conversations drive deals. And it's really about knowing your audience. Knowing your audience is so, so, so important. So one thing that I would say and encourage you is to know your audience fix your headline. So just quickly, this is a quick exercise that I would like to challenge you here today. We still have quite a bit of time. So I'd like to challenge you, go to your LinkedIn profile and look at your headline. I'd like to ask, hold on. Hello, Roshni, I didn't see you. Roshni, can you tell me, are you there?
I sorry, I joined late. I
Oh,
have been a
that's
little busy with work, yeah. So a little busy, yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Great to
Thank
hear.
you for being here. Just quickly, can you tell me, what does your headline on LinkedIn say?
Just give me a second. So it seems pretty long. Let me see. So I help business thrive by leveling up productivity, profit, and impact. And then I put what I do is executive admin, HR support, social media, digital marketing, and grant writing for profits, nonprofits. And I'm the founder of Fast Pronto, the virtual assistant company. Yeah, but the first title is like I help your business thrive by leveling up productivity, profit, and impact.
Thank you. So you probably weren't here when I shared that, when it comes to your headline, it needs to speak
Mhm.
about the value that you bring to the table for your clients. And I believe that yours does. It does say what the value is that you bring. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Jerome,
Yes, yes.
what does yours say?
Mine just has my title, Product and Advertising Sales Executive at Manufacturers News Inc. So
Okay.
we got some updates to do, and
Yeah.
it's an older picture of me,
Oh,
but
it
I am
is.
smiling right at the camera angle. So
Hey, that's good. Please find me on LinkedIn and let's connect. You, Jerome, as well as you, Kenneth.
Sure.
And Arnell, I think we're not connected. I know I'm connected to Roshni and to Katie as well. But yeah, think about your audience. It's about knowing who your audience is and what solution you need to be providing for them. You heard what Roshni said about her own LinkedIn headline. We want to bring value to our clients. Katie, I know you've been through quite a few headline changes. Can you tell us what yours says, please?
Do you want the one that's on my banner or the one that's underneath my name?
Under your name.
Okay, so the one that's underneath my name, I put a lot of like emoji characters in it. So I have a red, white, and blue hearts because I represent US manufacturing. So it says supporter of US manufacturers, lead gen strategist, chronic planner, roadside geologist, data junkie, learn it all, 100 books a year. Maybe I should change mine. I've had a lot of changes.
You
But on
could.
my banner, it says supporter of US manufacturing, connecting buyers and sellers, growing industrial businesses.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Can you tell me when you first showed up on LinkedIn, do you remember roughly like what it said on your headline?
Before I knew how to do anything, I think I just had my title and where I worked.
And can you tell me why you've made those changes?
When I started using LinkedIn back in I had a LinkedIn profile forever. I never used. When I started using it probably in 2021, that's when everybody was talking about personal branding. And I jumped into a personal branding cohort group, and it was really hard, and I didn't even stick with it for very long. But one of the first things I learned was putting those things on my headlines to like just talk about more about who I was, as a personal brand instead of talking about my company. That's kind of how we were doing it back then, was more small personal branding. I talk about myself more than I talk about my company.
Okay.
Or I talk about, not myself, I talk about things that are important to my audience that are relevant to me, but not necessarily about my company. So
Yeah.
that's why I did that.
Thank you. So I want to take you back to the first quote that I gave you. I can't remember it word for word, but it's by Zig Ziglar. And basically he was saying that people buy from people, not companies, right? And that's why that's probably why you started off doing that, and it may not have been conveyed to you through the personal branding, like the reason why, but the
Mhm.
reason why is there is something on social media called the KLT factor.
Yeah.
And KLT means know, like, and trust. So what the KLT factor actually conveys is that somebody, before anyone will buy from you, they need to get to know you first. Then they need to get to like you. And then they need to trust you in order for them to get to the place of buying from you. So when it comes to your headline, why I'm saying that you need to know your audience and fix your headline, it needs to speak to your client's pain points, and it needs to position you as a problem solver. Okay, so here we are. We're at part 5, but before I dive into that, I'll stop my share quickly. And I want to ask, is there anyone who feels brave today? uh, if you feel brave, I'd like to offer you just a quick audit of your profile. So I can do that live right now for one person. The first person to raise their hand, I'll do it for you. Anybody? Okay, awesome. Thank you,
Because they're
Donnell.
gonna learn a lot from mine because it's a hot mess.
I doubt it, but let's go and have a look.
All
Just
right.
gonna open it quickly.
Say it again.
I said I'm just gonna open your profile quickly and just give me a second.
Okay.
Uh, okay. Here we go. Welcome to Darnell's page. Thank you for being willing to be my guinea pig. I've done many of these profile assessments, so let's dive right in. So Darnell, based on what I've taught you today, what do you feel needs to be changed?
Everything. Well, I need a better profile picture. I need the background needs to show something related to me, my
Mhm.
business. I need a headline that conveys what I do. And well, that's all I can see for now. But yeah, those are the major things.
Those are the major things. So yes, your headline needs to change to really speak to your audience, right? And then looking at your banner picture, that's real estate that you're not utilizing.
Mhm.
So anyone that's visiting your profile, I mean, that's one of the things that stands out when you look at somebody's profile. So I would encourage you to change that. And then when it comes to your profile picture, a headshot would be good. It doesn't have to be overly formal. You could even wear, as long as it's a plain shirt, a golf shirt would work as well. And I would encourage you to look at the branding of your company. So local dining and drinks, look at that branding. And make sure that it's echoed in your banner picture as well as your profile picture so that you can come across as being professional. So Katie says this picture is fine, maybe just crop it. Maybe you could, but I suspect that you'll lose a lot of the resolution. And it may be dark, so we want to be able to see your face. Try it and let me know. And or maybe just get a new one. How old is it? Should I ask that?
About 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that's not too bad. I don't think that you've changed very much. So yeah, if you can zoom in and crop it, that would be good. But if not, try to get a different one.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just click connect to make sure that we connect with one another. Then I want to read your about section. So it says, I am Darnell Williams and I connect people with the best local restaurants, bars, food trucks, and coffee shops so that the heartbeat of every community invites you to experience the taste and soul of their city. At localdininganddrinks.com, we are extremely passionate about connecting people from all over the world and celebrating the flavors, the cities, and people that make dining out unforgettable. From hidden gems and coffee shops to legendary mom and pop restaurants, sizzling food trucks to buzzing bars, we provide a spotlight for those places that bring communities together one bite and sip at a time. I like it, but I feel like it needs to be expanded a bit.
Okay.
Let's see. Katie says this is great about local dining and drink.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I'm just
Can I
learning about this company though from the about section, not Darnell.
yes.
But is
Okay.
that intended? Is that how it's supposed to be?
I have no idea. I'm not, Igor knows that I'm not really good at social media. I'm just starting working on these profiles. So I'm learning.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm asking Inger. I wonder, is that so bad? I think it's a great overview of what the company does. I realize you're the president of the company. So
Mhm.
I don't
It
know.
is
I like it.
great. It is a great overview, and I'll give my thoughts to you after I go through the profile. But I already have an idea of how I would encourage you to change it.
Okay.
And then then it goes to your activity. So the last time you posted on there was 4 months ago. That tells us that you're not active on LinkedIn.
Nope.
And if someone were to send you a message,
Mhm.
they might get lost, or you might not receive it until much later.
True.
And your comments, you've commented 1 month ago once, and then 6 months ago. So definitely, you're not active on LinkedIn. Okay. Let me say this. If you're looking to drive people towards your business, and if you're looking for sales, you do need to be more active on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And don't let anybody tell you how active you need to be. You get to decide how active you need to be. The only thing that I would encourage you to do is be consistent. Once you've decided what you want to do, make sure that you're consistent, because what will happen is you will build an audience and a community that will start getting to know your schedule and knowing, like, how often you post. And I'll share just a quick example. I At one point, I was posting once a day on LinkedIn. And then I weaned it down to about twice or three times a week. But then in July of last year, I started going through a difficult time personally. And I stopped posting on socials completely. 2 months went by, and I was getting messages from my community saying, "Hey, are you okay? What happened to you? We don't see your posts. We don't see you commenting. Just checking in. Is everything okay?" Right? And I got all sorts of outreach from people, whether it was an email, a message on LinkedIn, a phone call, a text message. I received them all, and I appreciated that, right? Because it's not just about connecting with the powers that be. Going back to what I said at the beginning, relationships equal revenue. And I can really attest to that because since I became active on LinkedIn, 100% of my clients have come from here. 100%. Okay, let's go back. Let's go further down your page. So I like that you dive into a little bit and give a description of what you do as the president and CEO of Local Dining and Drinks. Just, I know that you don't do this anymore with glazes distributors, but maybe flush out a little bit more so that people can understand what your role was.
Okay.
Okay, and I see you have this one as well. Okay, that's good. Like that you've got some information in there regarding each role that you played. You've got some education filled out. You've listed some skills, 32 skills. That's good. Okay. There's one profile section that I don't see, and that is recommendations, which means that you haven't written any recommendations and you haven't received any. So something that also helps with credibility is requesting recommendations from people that you've worked with in different capacities, not just the one that you're doing, not just the role that you're playing right now. So if there are people that you're connected to from previous roles, from even your school that you attended, those are good connections to request recommendations from. Also, if somebody has served you in any capacity, I would recommend that you write recommendations for them. It just helps to build your credibility on LinkedIn. Because when people go through your profile, they will see all of this. So
Okay.
back to your about section, and just not just your about section, but your entire profile in general. I want to go back to the KLT factor, which is what I spoke about earlier, the know, like, and trust factor. When it comes to that, the best way to build KLT is to show up authentically. And it's to show up not just as Darnell, the CEO and president, but to show up and share a little bit about who you are, something personal. So when it comes to your about section, this is great about local dining and drinks, but your about section should also speak to different things about you that led you to found this company. And Darnell, I know you a little bit, so I would say speak about the things, think about what draws you in when you get to know someone. For me, it's the stories. Getting to know their story is really what intrigues me because it makes me feel a certain way. it pulls that nostalgia, and it tugs on your heartstrings, right? So when I think about you, Darnell, food is something that has always been a part of your life because of the way that you were taught about it. And you're a writer. I would encourage you, write a little bit of that in there as well, so that people can get to know not just what you do and what you can do for them, but about your heart as well. Yes, allow people to feel your passion. Uh, Let me stop the share. Katie, can you go back and just tell us again your profile? What are the personal things that you listed there that has absolutely nothing to do with your job?
Well, while being a supporter of U.S. manufacturing has something to do with my job, it is and always has been a personal passion of mine. So that's their number one for a reason. But lead gen strategist, that still kind of fits in with what I do for work. A chronic planner doesn't kinda. A roadside geologist doesn't fit at all. Data junkie kinda. Learn it all kind of, but not much. And 100 books a year, probably not.
But and that's fine. But remember that KLT factor, right?
Mhm.
Um, can you tell us how many people have reached out to you or connected with you because of the different personal things that you've listed?
I don't know that I can tell you that.
But
It says I have 500 plus connections. I don't know, like, at what point or whatever, but some people will say, "What do you mean by roadside geologist?" And some people might be like, "What do you mean by a learn it all?" So sometimes I get questions like, "What do you mean by this?" But
that
maybe 2 or 3 times that's happened, so not much.
but that is how you build connection with people. I can
Mhm.
honestly say that I had absolutely nothing to do with manufacturing when I met you.
Right.
And I didn't want to know anything about manufacturing. But here I am teaching an M&I class, right? And it's because you showed me who you are, but you also showed me the correlation between who I am, what I do, and manufacturing as well.
Mhm.
That's why we connected. And I know that's why you connected with so many of my friends, because we have nothing to do with manufacturing, but we're
Yeah.
your, right?
Yeah.
So, let me go back to my presentation. One moment.
And I always tell everybody there is room for everybody in the manufacturing industry.
Yes. Yes, you do. Um, and I got to learn and see, you know, how I can be a part of the manufacturing industry because of you. So let me share my presentation. Oh, not yet. I don't know why it's not letting me. 1 second. The last part of my presentation is part 5. And here it is. So what's next? I am proposing a second workshop that will take place on August 7th. And it will speak about from connections to conversations. It'll help you to find the right decision makers. It'll help you to write messages that work and to move from the LinkedIn chat to real meetings, whether that's online or in person. And I say that it's a proposed workshop because I would like your feedback about that. And I will share a link that I'd like you to please provide feedback to me about it. So your homework is have fun with it and reach out if you need help. Uh, so Katie says, if you have any requests, please tell us what you'd like to learn next. Yes. I will share my link. So thanks for your attention. Let's connect, communicate, and collaborate on LinkedIn. You can find me. My name is Inger van Roy, I'm the only Inger Van Roy on LinkedIn. So definitely easy to find me. And this class has been brought to you by We Got This Consulting and Coaching. That's my company. I'd like to open the floor. I know we don't have too much time, but I'd like to open the floor to anyone who has any other questions, please.
Before we open up the floor to questions, I just want to do a quick outro so that we can cut this off on the recording. So just really quickly, thank you everybody so much for listening. If you are here on the recording and you still have questions, you can feel free to reach out to me at tech@mni.net, and I can get you in touch with Inger in case you happen to miss her contact information, but you will have that as well. Thanks so much, everybody.